Today we are celebrating our 16th wedding anniversary. Can you believe it, John?
That's a long time, John.
That's a long time, that's right. So today we're thinking about, well, we like to make a video just to kind of commemorate our 16 years of hard work and effort. And at first we were thinking, well, why don't we do a video of like the 16 top like awesome things about our marriage or something. And then when we started talking, we're like, what would we really like to see in other people's marriages?
What's going to be real?
That's right. And I kind of want to know what couples struggle with, how they face their struggles, what did they learn from it, how did they grow from it, because that's real life. Mm-hmm. The nitty-gritty stuff.
And we've been there, we've done the top, I can't remember, 14 recommendations, and now we're moving on to a more real phase in our marriage.
That's right. So, I feel like sports commentators or something.
Totally.
That's right, John.
Oh, you're doing great, John.
Okay.
That's right.
So today we're gonna, because we're really pressed for time, we're gonna do our top 3 challenges. We're gonna call them growth experiences that we face in our 16 years of marriage. So as you can imagine, because these are our top 3, they're gonna be pretty hardcore. So if you're watching with children, I would maybe put in some earbuds.
Right. If you have an assembly meeting, pause it till you're done.
That's right. Not that you're watching YouTube video.
Well, I don't know. I've been on assembly before.
All right. So the first growth experience for us was definitely having 2 babies with colic.
Bad colic. Really, really colicky.
Yeah, although there is a spectrum. So let me explain what we went through. So both babies, classic, started at 2 weeks, ended at 2 months, crying, screaming, unconsolable, purple-faced for 4 hours every night. So for each growth experience, we're going to give you a little introduction, what the crappy part was, like how it affected our marriage, and then what we learned from it. How did we grow from the experience? What did we take away? Because we know that tests are sent as a healing medicine and to help us learn. So that's the silver lining. So the biggest challenge for us with having children with colic is that essentially for 2 years of our marriage, we just kind of passed in the night. You know, like we would do shift work and we were exhausted and emotionally depleted, and we were not spending time like on date nights or like making love or like any of that stuff.
There was no time together.
No, it was really
2 people
challenging.
living in the same house.
Yeah, like zombies, because we were so tired. And even after the colic ended, I mean, our kids are 15 months apart, so that hence the 2 years of hell. So now I'm going to go into the good part of it, like what did we grow from it, and definitely it was that we became a team.
Yes, we had to function as a major team because, especially with one of our children, I'll keep it vague just in case they get their hands on this video ever in their lives, they would scream from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. So, and like that purple face screaming.
Yeah.
Hopefully you never have to experience it. So we would have to divide and conquer. So we would take shifts. I would take the 10 to 12 shift. Jana would take the 12 to 2 shift. And that's how we survived those days. Yeah.
And so we learned that we can go through some crazy stuff together and still maybe come out of it a little worse for wear or a little battered, but and you know, work as a team together through it.
And I think it really set the tone for how we parented as we went through our marriage, because it really, I kind of felt that those early years were like going through the fire. Like newborns are the most intense fire, and then it just gets easier from there. Yeah. And it allowed us to kind of be better co-parents because from, you know, the 10 days old, we had to really, you know, divide and conquer. So we're still dividing and conquering.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to help us when they're teenagers.
That's right.
Yeah. Growth experience number 2.
All right, individuality. So this is a big thing in a marriage that's kind of hard, that we've had to really wrestle with. over our marriage because, like, in our marriage, it presents itself as I was always the one that basically didn't want to spend like 10 seconds apart if I didn't have to. Like 10 seconds, obviously you're at work, you have to, but outside of that. And I assumed that was what healthy couples do. They just spend all their time together. But Jana, as a highly sensitive individual, she needs some downtime. And I guess, for lack of a better term, if she's feeling that I'm being clingy and needing and pulling her in and holding her, she kind of goes away and runs away from me. So, that's been a big challenge in our marriage. And, in a lot of ways, that need for, me to constantly being needy and her need for independence has caused a bunch of disunity that we've had to really work on. I mean, this is a real live battle that is still going on. So the growth in this one is really the unity and diversity, for as cliche as I guess we make that as
for unity.
That's right. Thank you for the interlude. But yeah, I think it's really, when the writings talk about unity and diversity, it's not we think different colors of skin, but in our personalities there's so many differences. So my need to spend time, for instance, makes us go on these holidays every year. For our whole marriage, we've done this. Mm-hmm. And I
don't know if we told them where we are. We're on Salt Spring Island.
Oh, that's right.
Every year we go away for 16 years. I think we concluded that.
Yes.
For the whole 16 years.
Every year we've enlisted the grandparents, and we've had kids, and
so that's a great thing.
Totally.
About this.
And then what's your growth of the independence?
I think my growth has been, or our growth has been, just the fact that when there's space between us, physical space, but also emotional space to be our own people, it actually makes us closer. It actually invites intimacy even further, because there isn't this cat and mouse chasing, running away, pulling, pushing dynamic. It's just that we can stand on our own 2 feet and be helpmates and intimate friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a big one. So, hold on to your hats, guys.
Totally. It's, I definitely, stay with me. Don't judge me. Well, judge me if you want. Yeah. So, number 3, we saved the biggest and most challenging.
Biggest growth opportunity.
Most marriage rocking.
Yeah.
One to last. So, well into our marriage, my sweet wife turned to me with those lovely eyes that she has, and she asked me, "Do you ever look at pornography?" Mm-hmm. And I paused for a moment, and I looked back at her, and I said, "Yes, I do." And this basically unleashed a fury into my, not just, obviously, and
fury.
She unleashed her fury for sure, but it also really got us going on this journey that we're in that dealt with, my pornography addiction, and then also the really great impact that it has had on our marriage.
Yeah. Do you want me to say something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think, so that's a little introduction. It's definitely been the biggest growth experience for us. And, it's a little challenging to talk about because even though it's so common, no one talks about it. So, but that's our point today, is not to be all in the clouds, rainbows and sunshines, but be really real about marriage and the reality of it. So I think the biggest challenge for me in this whole journey, and we're still on the process, is trust. You gotta, after that many years of not knowing about something, that takes a pretty pretty big effort on both our parts to regain trust and yeah. So another really big challenge obviously was the effect that it had on our sex life for that many years, you know, not knowing that that was happening. We're not going to go into the whole like thing of pornography addiction. Go to yourbrainonporn.com if you're curious about what happens to the brain. But, and you know, it's not just, you know, the physical effects of the addiction, but it's also chemical and hormonal effects of the addiction.
And during that time, I couldn't see the impact that it was having within our own intimacy and on our own marriage, because
it's like a drug.
When you're in it, you are blind to it because, oh, that's normal, right? So, you know, after you spend a significant time away from it, you start reforming these neural pathways, and then you can, you know, much more clearly see the impact that it was having.
Yeah. So what did we learn from it, John? What are we learning?
Well, one thing that I learned is my wife is freaking awesome because
well, you are too.
You know, we went through a month of fire and me maybe getting punched and, you know, and yelled at and crying and well, I mean, I learned about me that I could be strong and just stay there and try to be supportive, even though as a man I try to fix things. And I learned that my wife is really, really strong and she is really, really dedicated. So when these, you know, due to my, you know, maybe clinginess or neediness and, you know, when she backs away, I might feel a bit rejected. But now I can say, well, geez, look at this woman. Look at how awesome she is. Look at how she has, you know, really stuck with, not with me, but with our marriage, and really has been a champion. So that's one thing I've learned is, you know, it really taught me a lot about, I mean, myself, but definitely about my beloved wife.
How am I gonna, what am I gonna follow that one? You're cool too. Yeah, I think it's obviously had a really positive, you know, healing from pornography addiction has had a huge positive impact on our sex life. We're able to kind of explore new dimensions of sexuality that we were never able to before because there was the addiction there underlying and compromising all the work that we were doing. So whereas, you know, I thought I had low libido, it turns out I don't. It just turns out there were some other dynamics at play. So I think it's kind of like, let's take it full circle back to the colic, is that, like, man, we've been through this. You know, we can tackle a lot of things now, you know, and I think we're pretty darn dedicated to each other. I think that's what came out of it. And it also came out that, you know, now we're, you know, able to be real with you and real in the Baha'i community. And, you know, if other people are struggling with this, well, we know, I mean, the statistics say up to like 83% of men struggle with this. So, and as Baha'is, we're not immune to that.
Yes, and that's one thing I learned is after I came out and talked to some of my other friends, you know, Baha'is and non-Baha'is, this is out there and people in marriages struggle with this. Yeah. But, you know, I think if you
can get through it.
Yeah, you can
get through it. It doesn't mean divorce. Doesn't.
Complete, well, and it's so important to get through it. And, you know, if you're that guy that's kind of been wanting to get caught for years and years, then, you know, it's...
Come out.
Yeah, it's come out of the closet, the porn closet.
Okay, should we wrap?
We should wrap.
It's a wrap?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Thank you for helping us celebrate our 16th wedding anniversary. I think we're tremendously proud of our accomplishment. I'm tremendously proud of our accomplishments.
And I'm really curious where we'll be at 17.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Every year takes us on a whole new journey that we never knew we'd be on the year before.
That's right. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.